No.
Bummer.
There you go.
The world is gonna have to wonder about how I made these master drawings. Like, did he really draw them? I'll be like, yes, I did. Like, prove it. Like,
Yes, but
I can't.
you'll
I
be
wasn't
drawing
recording.
more.
All right, should we do a potato? I actually have. I'm not gonna say I cheated with the potato, but with the kids class, we did some sculptures, and I put a potato up on the screen, and so I've seen a potato with an art frame of mind recently. I was not cheating on the celery. I was not cheating on the carrots, but I am cheating on. There's like these little, they have
Potato.
little dimples, sort of, depending on the potato. I'm gonna try. I had it like almost like more like a bean. That's like kind of a small one. I'm gonna keep the same light source, so I'm gonna try and. I've talked about this before, but some of you new guys, it's like there's a thing called bracelet lines, and if you imagine your arm as a carrot, you would put the bracelet around this way. If you were to put a bracelet on this carrot, they would run this way. Carrots, the root itself actually has like wrinkles that go that way, so it's kind of convenient. The celery is kind of the opposite. So bracelet lines, you do have the bowl, the trough of it, which is a bracelet line, but then you can also have longitudinal lines, so the ones that run the length of it. And it's not like you can't use the length lines for the carrot. It's just they're probably more short and broken up. Now the bracelet lines for the potato, I'm running this way, and it's just a suggestion. It helps create fullness and roundness to your shapes. I mean, if I were to draw a grape, and I'm gonna cheat because I was gonna draw the planet. If I was gonna draw the planet supposedly being a sphere, you draw a circle, and then you have a North Pole up here, and then you have latitudinal lines that run around. And it's really nice in terms of describing, the roundness. Like the equator would be the line in the middle, and then those are latitudinal lines laterally going sideways, and then longitudinal lines run the North Pole all the way down to the South Pole. And they're the most curvy towards the edges. And then because of perspective, the closer you get to the center, ultimately the middle is just a straight line down. Those would be the latitudinal lines, I guess you would consider bracelet lines. So I can just put a stem on here, and now I have a cherry.
Aw.
Aren't you impressed?
Yeah.
And some of you guys that came in, I can't remember who's here, who wasn't here, but we're drawing these vegetables from imagination, and then I have all these amazing professional photographed food. I know there was a big, I think people still photograph their food, but like when social media first came out, everyone seemed to be photographing their food all the time. You never got into that phase?
I never really understood it.
I mean, food is so good. And I mean, honestly, chefs and cooks are designers. I mean, they design they cook it, but they also like arrange it. And it is kind of artistically worthy, in my opinion. So I get it, but enough's enough. And then it can be a little, and it can read as a little bit boastful, maybe, because like not everybody has food. I actually went to I won't be a downer, but I donated money to this charity in Pakistan for this. There's this like tribe of this particular tribe that got like on lockdown. They're particularly poor, and they got locked down of COVID. And like, there's people like actually, I mean, according to the charity organization, there's people that are really suffering and starving. So I've sent them some money, and I got a wonderful note back and some photos and things. But anyway, be thankful and grateful for the food. I guess that's the lesson of this one. I love this shadow. So there's a just on this potato, I've got the light side, I've got the shadow side, and then I've got the cast shadow. You know, we're drawing from your imagination. It's nice to know those things because you don't have anything else to go on. I mean, I don't have, I can add like a little shadow for this cherry, maybe. Um, it's twofold. One, you don't have anything to go on when you're drawing for your imagination, so you need these like concepts. But then also it helps you when you're looking at things in person. You know, consider when you're drawing something, you're like, okay, well, where is the light source coming from? Like what is most likely going to be the light side? What is most likely going to be the shadow side? And then how is that shadow going to be, thrown onto whatever's next to it? So when you're approaching a drawing, even before you make a single mark, you can have those thoughts and it'll give you something to look for. So you almost have a place to start. You're like, okay, well, I know the edge and now I know there's a shadow there because you've kind of anticipated it. It's the anticipation, which is cool. Let me see if I can blend out this cherry here. I did have all those lines on there, but cherries don't have lines on them. So thankfully this pencil is very, very forgiving and you can blend it. Graphite blends so nicely, kind of on a technical level. Color pencils don't blend that well, but color pencils have color. Graphite doesn't have color. So there's always a little trade-off. All right, it's 4:34. Let's do it like 10 more minutes. Anybody else have the hankering to see a particular vegetable or fruit? That's nice. Look at that. So you get these bracelet lines and you get these notations, and then you can like blend them out into, potato skin. That looks so good. And I'm going to do the same thing with I didn't even consider that. It's just the celery itself is it's a light object in my mind. So it's blending it might make it too dark. So I'm going to try and lighten that up a little bit. You can put any orientation on it because who knows where, I don't know where. And the potato is, I think of a sliced potato. I think I remember seeing there's like 5 or 6. There is a pattern. If you look on the inside of a sliced potato, there is a unique pattern that's in there, and I can't remember what it is. It's very subtle, but you can see there's like these little veins in there. I can't help you. But this is what my potato looks like being sliced. And I'll blend that out so it feels the same. Boom, 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 boom. I have this TikTok song stuck in my head. I follow the Louvre as on my social media, and the Louvre had like these 3 guys dancing to this TikTok song in front of paintings. I'm like, what? Why? Why? And now this song is stuck in my head. What does that have to do with anything? Alrighty. I need a suggestion. I'm sick of being endlessly creative. Just kidding.
A peanut.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
A peanut.
The peanut is like particularly useful to draw. I'm going to make it kind of big over here. It'll be a huge peanut. Typically they have an orb. This is like the shell. I'll draw the shell first. So you have a swelling on the right, and then it kind of like dips in, like, it's like concave on the outside. Excuse me, convex on the orb, and then it goes concave. And then it has this like incredible structural component to it. So it's got like, speaking of X, Y coordinates, like this is the Y, this is the X, Y, X. You have one, like they run, bracelet lines run this way. And they're actually, I'm going to make them a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to do another one that runs long ways. And it's so interesting because the way that I describe lips, So I'm just going to go over here the way I just,
Yes.
the way I describe lips is you have the upper lip, which I usually call like an open book. Sometimes it's a bean, sometimes it's a pea, but I give it wings into the teardrop corner of the mouth. That's like my mock-up for the upper lip. And then the bottom lip, I describe it as a peanut. You know, there's a swelling on this side and it concaves in the middle. So I actually describe, and then the darkest parts of the lips, you know, the upper lip is generally in shadow because it angles to the ground and the light's coming from up above. And the lower lip usually protrudes a little bit and casts a little shadow on that lower part of the chin. But the wrinkles in the lips, you know, run this way, like actually in the direction of the peanuts. So the peanut goes both ways. So I'm basically making like a checkerboard on the peanut. And again, I don't know how good this is, but I haven't looked at a peanut in a while. It looks kind of like a peanut. So yeah, we're sketching vegetables from imagination. If you have color pencils, you know, color is so beautiful and so indicative. Like it's almost like people identify the nature of objects by their color instinctively. Like if you made this, if I just made like an orange triangle, people are like carrot. So if you're using color pencils, it's practically like cheating because it's so helpful. You know, peanuts are brown. You can make this a red potato. You can make this a cherry red cherry. The light, like the light soft green of a celery. Almost like envision it. So I'm gonna do like make the ridges outside a little bumpy. So I think there's a little bump on that ridge, flat, bump, bump, flat. Maybe I'll, all else fails, blend it. Peanuts are kind of light. I wonder if we should actually look at the actual, what the peanut really looks like. This is the only one where I'm feeling kind of insecure.
Well, you wouldn't know it.
That's what Kristen says all the time. She's like, you just talk like you know exactly what it is, even if you don't. I'm like, well, I'll just say, I'll speak confidently until I get proven wrong. And then, then I'll say, oops, I was wrong. I don't know. I think it was because I grew up in the 90s. So maybe this, I'm sketching these like inner squares. You know, if there's the ridge that comes across one direction, the ridge that comes across the other section, there's gotta be these little valleys that create the, you know, the inside of the checkerboard, I guess I'm saying. Are you stressing out, Stace?
You know, I'm not.
No,
I'm okay. I'm very relieved that I'm feeling comfortable. I'm not feeling as I did earlier in the day. I'm relieved.
In the first project?
Yeah.
Good. All right, we got 3 minutes. Should I sketch one more? Or we sketch more? Let's see. I'm just gonna I'll look through all the food. Ooh. Wow, that would be hard.
What was it?
It was a tomato. Tomato without color. So,
we're going for it. Tomato.
I'm going for it. And then there's,
I hadn't looked up.
Oh yeah, we did this during quarantine. Remember we did this during quarantine? So there's one
I
tomato, so
loved
it's gonna be shiny.
this.
In my mind, it's shiny. And then I remember the green, where the stem attaches, it makes like these dried up green, it's like a star. Don't you remember when we did this during quarantine when it just started? And then there's the stem.
Are you speaking to me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Yep,
So I'm gonna make it
I
shiny.
remember
And then I'm gonna make
very
it
well.
real, I'm gonna make it real smooth. So I'm trying to apply some tone. I'm gonna lay it on like kind of soft so that I can really make sure that it's that it blends out. And my pencil is so blendy. This is the pencil that I'm using, which I use most of my classes, because all my classes I want to make sure that like even if all you need is a pencil and a piece of paper and you can like learn to draw and you can make art. Like that's all you need. You don't need fancy color pencils. You don't need you can learn so much. So this is just out of the regular packets that you can get at like the pharmacy. And they've figured it out. In my opinion, the pencil company, Bic Pencil, has figured out in their mechanical pencils to make their eraser works so well. I can't even believe it. So it's got the perfect like blending ability, for smudging, and it also, it can also erase like just so cleanly. I messed up on I do remember that each one of the leaves of the tomato. So if the tomato's up here, I'm looking at it from above, the stem's in the middle. It was a star, and each one of the triangles of the star was essentially the same. I think maybe one might have been a little bit longer, but it was a star, and it was like a five-sided, it was a five leafed element. So by making one too long, it makes it seem like it's not a tomato. And of course, there's like some creases. It was a little pumpkin-y, felt a little bit like a pumpkin. And then the real challenge would be to slice this thing open and imagine, I know, slide this over. I ran out of room. It has a thick skin. And then there's and I think it's got to have a structural element in the middle, but there's some pattern of seeds. Yeah, that's hard. But luckily we've got, we don't have to rely on pure memory for the rest of the piece. This is just the warm up. We can look at actual photos and we'll talk about how to make, bread crusted chicken. We'll do sections of cubed roasted potatoes and green beans. I think we'll start with that one. We're gonna start with this one. Oh God, it's gonna be good. Maybe how did everybody do? Miss Foley, how's yours going?
Pretty well.
Did you do all of them?
What?
Did you do all of
my
them?
brother, sorry.
Okay.
Not all of them. He's holding me captive. That's my brother.
Well, do I need to call the police? Okay, good. Will you hold up your drawing so I can see it, even the little thing?
I seem to have lost it. I was looking for the tomato we did before, but I lost the tomato I just did.
Oh, that's okay.
I've gained one tomato but lost another.
Wait, so do you have the one that we did over quarantine? Can I see that one? Just as like a memory. Seems so long ago.
I know.
Does anybody else want to show while Julia's looking for the tomato? or
Well, I will, because I'm so happy it's not the morning.
Yeah, so that was traumatizing, huh?
It was, it was.
I am sorry.
It's
I
okay.
I found it very very soothing. I was moved.
Shall I hold mine up?
Yes, hold it up. So you are using color. Yeah.
Should I have not used color?
No, you totally should have used color. I just
Oh,
didn't use color.
okay.
That was a little that was the sound of jealousy. I'm
Oh,
the least jealous person in the world, so it was probably unfamiliar to
know.
you that you couldn't read that in my voice. But yeah, that carrot's
Yeah.
great. The celery's great. It's all awesome. Your potato reminded me a little bit of a mushroom, so maybe I should sketch a mushroom. These are all
Yes,
like,
one of your favorite veggies, right?
yeah, it really is. These are all things I need for dinner tonight.
I can't tell you how much fun that was for me.
What's that? The drawing right now?
Well, I guess I did just tell you what we just did. The
Good. I'm glad.
yes.
I ultimately want this class to be fun. I mean, I want everybody to learn concepts and ideas, but I do really want it to be a good time. So I did a view of the tomato from the side. Oh, let's see it. Let's see it.
Yeah, I found them. They were in my box. I have a piece of still here.
Dag, dude, that's good.
Oh, that's great.
You could
They're
start.
better than what I just
You could
drew.
start a tomato company off of those tomatoes, or like put it on a bag of seeds, tomato seeds.
Yeah.
So I drew the mushroom seed from the side, so it's like the cap, and then the stem, and then I'm drawing the underside of it. So there's the cap on the outside, and then there's the stem on the middle, and then there's these. I don't know what types of mushrooms these are, but they're the ones they're really round. They're really rounded. There's the inside of it. Boom, 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 boom. I didn't do much light and shade on this one. Anybody else want to show? I'm here. I'm like on my own carrot island, and I want some support. Anybody want to hold it up? Sebastian, let's see yours, boss.
Where are you, Sebastian? There you are. Oh, nice. Can you hold that a little bit further away from the screen? And down and freeze. Very nice. I love your carrot.
Who's Mr. Messick? How about yours? Can we see yours? 1 minute. All right, I'll take your time. Who's got the yellow room and the pigtails? I can't see the name on my thing. Yeah, what's your name?
Yes. You're muted.
Nico?
Nico.
Oh, Nico. What's up,
I
Nico?
didn't
Hi,
have pigtails,
Nico.
it's just my hair down.
Okay, sorry. I wasn't.
It's okay.
Could I do you have any vegetables sketched on your paper?
I do, but they're not really good. So
I mean, it doesn't matter. You go a little closer.
oops.
It's okay. I missed. My brim of my hat covered up the screen for a second. Cool. That's a nice page.
Very nice.
Nice page. And then who's that with the cool tree sculpture on the wall, the green couch? Yes. What's your name?
Milana.
Hey, there's.
Hi, Milana.
I can see the names, but I can't put it down. Oh, now it comes up when you start talking. Can I see your veggies? You got any veggies?
I don't.
That's okay. You can also just watch. It can be like kind of a Bob Ross experience where you're just like, soaking in the art knowledge through your ears. Max, did you sketch any? Are you around? And then Maya's next, and Kaya, you're up there. Estelle's up there. I just can't see everybody at the same time. Just hold it up if you can. There it is. Oh,
Maya,
you did do the root.
a little bit further away from the screen. Perfect.
I like the tone.
Thank you.
I like the tone of that carrot. Estelle, how about you? Can I get any veggies out of that? And then Mr. Messick, you're coming out. You got the 15-second warning on your veggies. So drawing from photographs is not drawing from nature, but drawing from really well lit photographs is like the next best thing. The reality of working on the Zoom format, where you're just going to have to use photographs. But if you look for the fine art components and you look for the things in the photo that you're going to look for when you work from actual real life, you'll win. I mean, you'll get the training that you need. And in ways, you working photographs is easier because everything's already flattened. You don't have to like translate something that's in the real world onto a flat surface because it's already flat from the photo. So there are like advantages for sure. All right, let's start this plate. Yes, Stace.
Mr. Messick, did you want to?
Oh, yeah,
want to
let's get it.
show?
He almost got out of it.
All right, yeah, I got mine ready now. All right.
Okay, let's see it.
Okay.
To finish the root system.
Oh, I love
my
that
carrot.
root system.
Wow.
Can you hold that up further away from the screen and freeze it? Thank you.
I accidentally got some fingerprint smudges, so.
No, that is a drawback to it is a drawback to these pencils. Like they can get on your hand. Look at, you can even see it on my finger. It's okay, you just gotta be careful. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about this thing, and then I have to figure out a strategy on how to actually draw this. I know it looks hard, but we're gonna take it real easy. The meal seems to be divided into 3 sections, of course, and these are roasted potatoes. So I don't know if they put like a seasoning on there, but it's just a regular Yukon potato. It says. I don't know why they turned that golden brown. Maybe it's just how they're baked. Then we got these kind of like green beans. The green beans are also baked in the oven and they're kind of wilty. And then you have this piece of chicken, and these are layered. So I think in order to get this kind of think about the plate as like a piece of pizza or a piece of pie. So we have, this makes up, the potatoes make up, I don't know, what percentage of that do you think? It's not 50%. If you draw a line between the potatoes and the green beans, that's like 50%. You draw a line here. So maybe we'll just call it a third. It might be just like awkwardly positioned, but it's like, I think it's bigger than a third. The biggest section of pie, and even if I turn it like this, yeah, that's good. Okay, the reason I like that is because the green bean basically goes from, separate. This is at 9 o'clock. If it were a clock, like 12 o'clock being up at the top, 6 o'clock down here, from 9 o'clock all the way over to here down to 6 o'clock. That's the green bean piece of pie. And then from 9 o'clock all the way to 12, maybe 1:30. That's the zone for the potatoes. And the potatoes are going to be super fun because they're basically cubes. Do you see this cube right here? Some are going to have rounded sides because the potato is round. But the inner portions, when you slice that piece of potato, are going to be cubes. And so we're going to get to build a lot of 3-dimensional geometry. These are essentially long, thin rectangles. You can maybe call them triangles in the sense that it's wider here and it gets narrow at the end. But there's green beans are like 2 sides. They're 2 sides and they're stuck together. So there's a crease both on the top and on the bottom. And so we'll look for, that crease on the green beans. The thing about the green beans is that the green beans that are on top don't get overlapped. And so we're going to do the ones that are on top first and then the ones that are overlapped below it. This, I don't know what kind of shape that is. It looks almost like a shark fin, or maybe even a teardrop. I guess the chicken is almost like a teardrop, and that's one breast. So it's one chicken breast, half of it, and then it's sliced into medallions. So they're sliced at an angle. So each piece of chicken is going to have the outside skin, which is like seasoned with pepper and, you know, has like some crisp on it. And then it's the white meat inside. So the chicken is, this is the white meat. And then you have the thighs, which are dark meat. This is the chicken breast. And so you have the white exposed, the skin, you know, and then this is the end here. So it'll be interesting. So there's going to be basically to every piece of chicken, there's going to be the outside skin and then the inside, outside skin, inside. Then we're gonna have to pour this. We're gonna have to figure out how to pour that, drizzle that sauce on top. And then on top of that, what are those? That's dill. So these little green flakes is dill. Oh, all right. Oh my God. So I don't think we should necessarily make this life-sized. Let's not make it life-size. I'm gonna, I think my plate, I'm gonna go like this big. No, I'm gonna do it in the corner. How about that? That kind of small. How am I gonna draw this so you can see it and I can see it? That's gonna be tricky. How should we do that? Maybe we'll do like one section at a time. All right, so if I have a circular plate, because I want to make these big enough. So I make this plate. I'm gonna have the green beans come in the middle. And then I'm gonna have this teardrop shape of my chicken. Green beans, GB, green beans, and then this shape up here is going to be the potatoes. Potatoes, chicken. All right. Give me one. Let me see how we're going to do this. Let's start with the, I'm just going to cover up, now that I have this, my section, so I have my zones, my chicken, my green beans, and my potatoes. I'm going to zoom in on the potatoes so that you can see them and then you can also see what I'm doing. I'm going to cut my plate out. I'll be right back. Kristen at her desk usually has the scissors, but maybe I stole them, didn't put them back. I feel like that's very unlikely.
I might agree.
Yeah.
It sounds feasible.
As long as my green beans, yes, it's happening. It's doing it. Oh, thank God. All right. So just as long as my paper, my zone, my potato zone can fit in that potato zone, I think we're going to be fine. And then this green bean is hilarious. Look at this green bean. It's like the dividing line. It's an actual dividing line. All right. So I'm going to put my green bean on the dividing line. And then we're just going to cut. We have to figure out these. We got to figure out these potatoes. Say a prayer. All right, I've got my green bean. This green bean, actually, you know how I talked about it had two sides? There's this line that runs right down the middle. It's actually really helpful for my drawing. So that's going to be one of the properties of the green bean. Yes,
Trevor, I can just barely see the bottom of your green bean.
That's good. Well, I mean, that's the thing.
Okay.
Let me do it the old-fashioned way. So, guys, if you ever need to like tear your paper, you fold it on the line, and if you like wet the edge, you know, like lick it, or you can use like just a piece of like some regular water, and then you fold it, and then the paper tears, and it tears really beautifully. I don't know if you can see this, the edge, the way like really high-end paper works. It's like when you see those little, see that little fuzz that's on the end, that's kind of, you kind of want that. It's actually really a beautiful way of, is that better, Stace? Can you see it now?
So much better.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna start with this cube. You see how it's like resting on the top? Nothing's in front of it. It's ideal in the sense that you see three sides. There's one major square for the front side. Then you see a smaller left side, and then an even smaller right side. So you want to think of like a die, like literally like the six-sided die. And I might make my potatoes on my paper a little bit bigger because you can cut the potatoes any way you want. So this is the first square. And these early forms, once you get the hang of it, it's going to be, I think, really fun. So this is the first square. Then I'm going to get the sides. Everybody's like drawn that house. You know how you draw that like three-dimensional cube house? So you get the top and the bottom, and then this side. So that's the second small one. And then I'm going to add a little third side. So I've got all three sides of my cube there. This top part looked like it got a little bit burned, and if you're using color pencils, you can mix two colors together. You can even mix three colors. The main tone of this is going to be like a light yellow, and then it'll have some like dark golden brown accents to it. So Stace, if you're doing these colors, the corners a little bit dark. I'm just in my mind, I'm just trying to like make this, I'm trying to come up with a vocabulary of tone and marks that represent a potato, and it's not going to be that hard. The one that's next to it, the one that's right below, we see a little bit of the top, and it's mostly the front. So I'm just going to do another square. This one's, excuse me, I don't mean square, I meant rectangle. It's a little bit taller than is wide. And I'm going to show a little bit of the top here. And then it's got some irregular colors, a little bit dark. But for the most part, it's a rectangle. The one that's connecting to that, which is interesting, right below it, there's another angled rectangle. And because I made my potatoes bigger so you can see them, it looks like I might have less potatoes. There'll be bigger chunks.
Yes.
I've cut them
Same
many
here.
different ways. Yeah, so that it probably will save us time. If you make them super small, they'll be like hash browns. It'll just take you more time. But I am going to see that I got a little bit of the left side here. Another cube, and maybe I'll see a little bit of the top of this one. So far, they basically are like ice cubes. They're they're blocks. There's no curves to them. So I'm kind of like actively looking for one that has a curve, and I found one up here. So I'm going back to my original, and then I can do this one. Just move it up. It's going to be one big pile, so I'll do a curved side, and then we'll do a block. And I can't tell you how good a practice this is, because learning to see like three sides of any form is like ideal. Most of the times you only see two sides because of the angle. Let's find one where you only see two sides, or even only one. Look at this one up here. I don't think you see, it's like totally in profile. And it has a 90-degree angle there because it was cut, but then this curved side is the outside of the potato. So that's kind of easy, and it's not overlapped. So any place that you see one that's not overlapped, you can just draw it. And I promise that once you accumulate all of these interesting shapes, the ones behind it are super easy to draw. For example, we go back to the main one, and then we do this one that was up top, the one that had the first curve. There's a shape behind it, and it's so easy to draw because you barely see any of it. So, and then we can anything that's behind, we can shade it a little bit and push it, push it back towards the bottom of the pile. This is pleasantly easier than I thought. I was like, there's so many like cubes that I'm like, oh my God, we'll never get this done. But once, I got one side here. So the large open face, I think if your main goal is to draw the largest face of the cube first and then add the sides, aim for the biggest, the easiest part, which is the most exposed part, which is like the open part that's that's got some texture on it. It's the biggest shape of the side. There's another one. This is a weird one. Maybe I'll do another rectangle. No, I'll just put it in there, and then you can't cut. I mean, you could like trace it. You could fit them all perfectly in the right spot, but why? I mean, why? I mean, it can your potatoes can tumble, they can turn, they can move different ways. It almost feels like they're floating right now. And if you accumulate enough of them, so here we go. We'll do a 190-degree angle there, and then one curved side, and then another 90-degree angle there. I do see some of the top of that one. And then I guess there's a little teeny bit of the side there. And it looks like each one has a little bit of not braised, but like a little bit of burn and maybe a little bit of seasoning. So I'm going kind of heavy on my silhouette lines, the outside edges, which I think is okay in the long run. But each piece of potato just quickly indicate that it's burned, has some browning on it, and then maybe has like a little frayed edge or some seasoning. And I think we'll be okay. This one's kind of cool.
Yum, that one piece looks like French toast.
Yeah.
Like right about 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock-ish.
I am picking up a French toast vibe. And these are all, so once you start filling in like a bunch of these spots, now you got to try to get the space, the ones behind them. And sometimes they'll just be little sections sticking out, and then you can shade those down. And then maybe some of the gaps in between, there might be such a hole that like you see all the way down to the plate, but it's so dark. All right, I really clustered. I really clustered these over here in a nice way. So I'm kind of inventing. I'm going to be inventing my own potatoes.
Oh,
that one looks like
Trevor.
that skin on it still. Like you can actually see it's like the wrinkled edge of the skin. That's the first time I've really seen that. What'd you say, Stace?
I'm thinking about the potatoes you saw on, I don't know, a social platform and made them that were just so beautiful. Do you recall what I'm referring to? They were like like origami.
Oh yeah. Because you slice them.
Yeah, but not all the way through. Do you remember?
I do. I'll try to locate that. I wonder if I recorded it. Yeah, some of the edges, the ones that have the little circles, I think that's a defining characteristic. So these potatoes have skin on them, and the parts where you see the skin, where they have these little dots. Interesting.
Oh, gotcha.
There's just a random cube. I just put the cube in there. The integrity. There's like the literal. You can actually draw an individual portrait of each one of these. or you can get into the spirit of it. And both methods are effective. Meaning, I'm not copying each individual one, but each one that I'm putting in here is kind of based on the attributes, the common attributes of these potatoes. And I love the ones that have a 90-degree angle and then one curved side. Actually, I think that's like the outside. That one's kind of
I love the one that you just did with the wrinkle.
yeah, that one was nice. And then that wrinkle,
Yeah.
it doesn't have any spots on it, but it needs the spots so that, when you look at a photograph only can tell you, has so much detail that you can, that will still look like a potato even if it doesn't have the spots. But in your drawing, you've gotta give as much. It's almost like you're not looking at a real potato, you're looking at a symbol for the potato. All right, I'm gonna try and locate some gaps in between these chunks and draw that background. Is this good or is this hard? I can't tell. I can't tell if this is easy or hard.
For me, it's a little, I can't think about what I'm doing because then I get a little lost. I can't give it too much thought.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does a little bit. I agree. I think as soon as I try to feel precious about any of them,
Yeah.
and then I start to tweak.
Yeah, that's the word. And I have a tendency to be precious about things. So I
Yeah.
have to really steer clear.
Yeah, and if there's any it's either potatoes, it's either like block potatoes or curved potatoes. And if there's anything that's not potato, it can be it's like the space between the potatoes, and that can be shaded dark. And it's like the red of the plate that's not receiving any light. So I folded it and then wet it, and now I'm going to tear it. It's got this nice edge. Just the least amount of paper for me is better because I can then Julia, Mr. Messick, Stacy, everybody that's I can see. Tell me what you think about this. If I were to rotate the my page, could you rotate your paper so that we can
Sure.
then that we can like almost draw the green beans so that we can see them? Is that
Yeah.
is that gonna be too annoying?
I'm fine with it, but I'm
Now
also
I'm just wondering if we turn it like this,
flexible.
then we could draw.
Oh, that's terrible. That's unacceptable.
Does it read as being upside down?
It's
You know-
totally unacceptable.
Are you being facetious? I can't tell.
I am.
You are being facetious. Okay. But I mean, you do get like accustomed to the picture. I mean, this is how the picture was photographed. So, I mean, and it is, kind of from up above. I guess maybe I can go like this. Let's just keep things where they were. I'll just try to maximize my space on here. I mean, I'm sorry if anybody wanted to do the chicken. I'm kind of saving the chicken for last. Yeah, we'll keep it straight up. We'll keep it straight up. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I did the one green bean. So the nice thing about the green beans is that, you know, we can plot them all out essentially two-dimensionally. So we can make them feel like tubes. We can make them feel like they're withered a little bit. We can make them feel like there's highlights or, you know, salts, there's like some texture to them. But for the most part, we've got rectangles. And they're not green. I mean, excuse me, they're green. If they weren't green, they would look like French fries. Oh, there's a long one. Look at the long one. Get it. So it's a long, curvy rectangle. And I'm really trying to go for the ones that are on top. Although, you know, look at this one. This one goes underneath the one I just drew.
Yeah, you see, I have to be
Another
careful
long one there.
to how
Be
I
careful
look
to
at
what?
this. It's, not overthink it, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Say you do draw one like this one. I'll draw this guy, and he did overlap this one. I can just erase. I can erase that line, and that one just now it goes behind. Put this one, a curved one here. So they're not. I was kind of saying that they're almost all curvy to some degree, except now that I say that, this one is totally straight. It's so funny. And it does close off this side nicely. This angle on this side of the plate is nice. Now, I think it's going to be a little tricky on how to get these green beans looking like green beans, but
Because they are so wilty.
they're
Yeah,
so wilty. They're so wilty. And look at this one.
they are
That one's
over.
even crushed. Look at this one. Like looks like the letter J. You just gotta kind of gotta hold the line. You know, like it can be complicated, but it's also like it's complicated because there's so many of them, but it's also not that complicated because they're only one shape.
Well, the minute that I draw one under another, I have to give it a little bit of tone or I'm lost.
I'm terrified on how to fix this. This is where it's really nice to have colors and it's really nice to have paint. But I'm gonna shade the space in between anyway. Maybe that's the answer too, is that really it's the it might be about the space between and not the actual positive shape of the green.
Mhm.
I wonder if you just wrote green on here, if that would help.
I like
I
that.
promise. Yeah, we'll do red on this plate. R-E-D. Van Gogh would do that, by the way. I don't know if I've ever, like, a lot of the sketches he would go out and he would draw from life, and then he'd bring the paint, then he'd bring the drawing back to the studio and he'd paint in his studio, you know, at night. He would paint a lot at night. And so when you have, you know, if the thing isn't in front of you and you don't have photographs, and these guys were painting in the era of photography, but it was like super expensive and super rare. And, you know, paintings were, anyway, a way of communicating, you know, visual information the way photographs are today. So it's like, in a way, it's like the art of drawing was such a necessity before, pre-photography. That's the only way you got pictures, was to make them. In a way, photography is like, it's almost a miracle. I mean, we're so accustomed to it, but like, it's like electricity. It's like before, like, there was a world before electricity. We've only had electricity for like 200 years, not even. I mean, that's like unbelievable. Such an amazing time we live in. So I haven't addressed the plate really that much, but now that I've got these two sections and I'm like procrastinating because I don't know how to do the green beans without like using paint and color and stuff. So I can sketch the space in between these green beans, but I really think I should, at least think about the plate, because if you think about if you were to make this painting or complete the drawing, so far we've addressed potatoes, which are golden orange. We've got green beans, which are, green and white highlights, light green, dark green, and then like the shadows in between. And then we have this red plate. So we have this great plate that's got a gorgeous color, which is kind of the foundation for all of it. That I haven't actually, I made an initial circle, but I haven't really thought of the plate as an object or really even as a color scheme yet. And then the table that it's resting on is, if I move this over just ever so slightly, it's wood. It's like this wood cutting board. It's a nice, textured table. And when you're making a painting, you gotta, everything inside the rectangle, kind of needs to be addressed. And, even just like indicating like this little texture of the grain of the wood on the table, and a harder edge for the side of the plate. I was telling my adults this morning, it's like, we were drawing a table and it's like, well, does the tabletop look right? And it's like, well, are the legs of the table working? And it's kind of the same thing when you draw people. It's like, well, if the face doesn't look right, could it be that the legs or the feet aren't right? So you kind of have to have, all of the elements put together. I got my drawing's not bad. I mean, I know that drawing is like, some people are like, well, why draw? Well, there's a couple reasons to draw. Principally and historically, drawing is in preparation for painting. So if I were to turn, I go into every drawing anticipating the next phase, which is doing the painting, whether it be a watercolor, acrylic, or oil. And the starting point for a drawing is actually very similar for all of those medium. And you almost like with these green beans, it might be too hard to make the green beans, read like green beans. Maybe we just increase the silhouette. Maybe pull out some of them, get a little bit of a texture. But really, you almost have to like be okay with the green bean and its minimal nature, because where the green beans are really going to be able to like shine, no pun intended, is and they are kind of shiny. They're way wetter and greasier than the potatoes. The potatoes are a little bit more matte. The wet of the green beans. So where they'll really be glorious is probably more in the painting where there is color. I guess that's my point, is that the drawing phase. And that being said, I'm not giving up. I'm still going to try and make the green beans look good in this drawing phase. Each one seems to have, not each one, but each green bean will have a left side and a right side, so they'll have this like crease in the middle, but not necessarily each green bean will reveal that. So each green bean is going to have a left side and a right side, and then part of it will have and some of them will have that crease. So when I'm making my lines on the green beans, I'm thinking outside line, silhouette, that is, and then the where the bean itself, the one half meets the other half. And I'm also looking at some, and I know some of these green beans should come to like a point, but I guess maybe they cut the tips off. Because sometimes the tips, the stem is not what you want to eat, and then other times they can be like, you know, not rotting, but they're just it's nicer to have the tips cut off. If they weren't cut off, it might make it look more like a green bean, to be honest with you. If I add these little triangular tips on there, it suddenly looks a little bit more like a green bean and less like a French fry.
Ouch. Ouch.
All right, so it's 5:28. Let's do maybe 4 more minutes on the green beans. Stace, did you get to sketch it? Oh, she's taking Tucker out.
Yes, I sketched some of it. Well, I sketched all of what we were told to sketch, but
You're doing the lesson. No, good. Thank you.
yeah. I just don't have as many. I don't have as many potatoes and string beans on my plate yet.
Can I see it anyway?
Oh, sure. I didn't hear you.
When you're in the classroom, it's like so nice to be able to like spy on the drawings everyone's working on, but you can't see them when you're in the Zoom. You got to put it a little closer.
Closer.
Aha, that looks good. Okay, cool. That looks great.
You can see it.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah, thanks for I do recognize that some people move slower than others, and it's really good. It's okay to do that.
And I'm really glad that I'm not, or whomever you're referring to, is not penalized in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, there's no grades. So I'm actually just going in between the green beans that I've drawn, and I'm looking for those gaps, and the dark spaces between the green beans are they're great. I mean, they're making the ones that I have drawn really pop. I don't want to do too much on the edges because that's where the chicken's going to be. The chicken's going to be the grand finale. I love drawing food, especially delicious food. So I'm thinking about the chicken, and I'm of course going to draw the chicken without the sauce on there. And I'm just thinking, should we start from this end and like the part that's overlapped, or should we start from the tip that's not overlapped? Yeah, we'll start from the bottom here. So we'll build this bottom one, and then that one's going to be in front of this medallion, and then this medallion is going to be stacked on top of this medallion, and then this medallion will be stacked on top of that medallion, and so on all the way to the end. And the nice thing is that there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 pieces of chicken, and I'm telling you, the idea of the bracelet lines is going to be huge. Meaning there's a thing that they take like readings they take in medicine called CT scans, and that's almost like you take like a thin slice of a view of the human body, and these are almost like each one of these slices. I'll just do a quick one right here. So it's like this is the shape of the chicken seen from the side, And then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are 7 pieces. This is on the plate from the side. And then you add space in between each one. So it's going to be like that, and then like that, and then like that. And they get bigger. And there's finally that end. So if I were to see these pieces from the side, there's going to be the white part and then the skin. And then this one's going to be the white part and the skin. That'll be the white part and then the skin. Oh, look at that one. It's overlapping. White part and then the seasoned browned skin. And then you get the cap at the end. So then it ends here. And this one would be the triangular front. It's actually not a bad diagram. I think they're all, they're kind of like tilted to the side. They're almost like dominoes. They're kind of like knocked over. This is not as good of a diagram. And then on top, and then so they're all touching each other with slightly spaced. And then we're gonna use our pencil and erase the sauce on the top. Let's see. I don't want my that'll be good. Is this not straight? All right, party people. All right, so here we go. The chicken. So there's going to be this triangular piece that's at the bottom, and then all the rest are going to be these medallions. And you've got to use your X-ray vision to be able to see. You have to look underneath the sauce that's on top, and I'll attempt to do that. And again, it's going to seem a little bit scary at first. All right, so the first piece, and I'm going to make mine barely. I'm going to make mine like coming even off the page. So I want to make it kind of large. So there's the bottom piece, which is essentially like a cone. And then that one, it comes to a point. It's covered up by the green bean, but there's going to be the seasoning on it, and you don't see any of the white meat. The tender, juicy inside, the part that has not been seasoned or grilled. So the next one, the first line that I'm making is going to be all of the white meat that's being exposed. And there's like a little texture to the meat. So I'm going to do like a light some waves in there just to make in my mind have something completely different than what the skin looks like. So then I'm going to draw the skin on the top. And that skin is going to have this peppercorn, and it's going to be a little bit yellow, so I can tone that down. And again, there's no sauce on here at the moment. All right, third piece. We're going to do the thickness of the white meat. Comes up or arches over and then curls under itself. You could argue whether I should use some straight lines in there or curved lines, whatever. And then because it's sliced at an angle, the bunch of this skin is exposed. So I've got my waves in here, which will be the juicy, you can almost you can imagine like pressing on it and watching some of like the juices like kind of like drip out of there. There's some like juice dripping from that tender chicken. And then I have this aggressive line because I need to delineate in my mind the difference between skin and meat. So it's all meat, but it's like the outside. So I'm just gonna begin to, as we go up, I think I might be a little less aggressive on the line work, because if you look at the edge of the where the white meat meets the crispy outside, there's not particularly like that aggressive of a line separating it. I mean, there is definitely a line, but it's just like a lot softer. Anyway, here's my code for the skin, which is a light gray with these salt and pepper, maybe even some like garlic powder that's been singed. There's the tone here. Notice that I had this teardrop shape all the way on there, so I can let that, the teardrop shape of the whole, almost like a xylophone chicken breast, guide me. So it's starting to get nice and wide. So I'm going to try another, and it's curving a little bit. This is the exposed skin. Exposed meat. So I'm going to put my little waves on there. It's beginning to turn the corner. And I got my skin. And, a lot of this work that I'm doing all along this ridge here. Oh no, sorry. A lot of the work that I'm doing all along here, I'm going to have to erase it because I'm going to drizzle that sauce on top. A light gray, a light tone, and some almost like freckles or like sand. The way that those peppers stick to the outside, it feels like sand. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, let's hope that it fits in there. I might be missing one piece. All right, so that's the exposed skin. Excuse me, exposed meat. I'll do the skin. Light gray. Oh, I'm sorry if my fingers covering. The whole beginning, I was so up on my blending, and I haven't done any blending on this. It's incredible. So there's the last section, exposed skin, and the end of the breast, which looks almost triangular. Hopefully you all drew this better than me. Maybe I'll blend together the skin, try to kind of really separate the two. Skin versus the meat, skin versus the meat. And then maybe I can, I was gonna say maybe I can blend the skin, but the meat part, but I think it'll just be it'll just get too dark. I really want to keep that light. In fact, I'll probably have to come in and erase some of the tone for the outside of the skin, make it a little softer, maybe soften even some of the lines that I'd originally had. That's great. The light source is definitely coming from the left side, and I think that they usually wash all of the they have lots of different lights in the studio, where they're trying to find idealized arrangements of light for each section of the food. So you don't see a lot of cast shadows. The potatoes aren't throwing shadows anywhere. There's shadows in between them. There's a little shadow up the top, shadows in between. But if you notice delightfully on this plate, there's all these cast shadows on the plate itself. So the plate The chicken doesn't have any shadows to speak of, except the plate has shadows being thrown onto it from the chicken. So the chicken appears to be even lighter and bolder up against these shadows. So this is where the plate, the exposure of the plate might be kind of helpful to the composition right when I don't have it. So I'm thinking about these silhouetted shadow shapes. I can make that chicken really pop out, stand out from the outside, off from the plate. I took off too much paper. Classic. Shadows are so nice when they're blended. Because shadow, you can't pick up a shadow. You can't touch a shadow. It's the absence of light. And so the soft and ephemeral, most edges, the edges of shadows are generally soft, even if there's really harsh shadows with bright light. The nature of the edge of an object versus the edge of a shadow is different. The edge of objects tend to be really sharp, where the edges of shadows are diffused. And whether it's true or not, they can have really sharp edges. It's just the nature of the shadow reads more like a shadow when it is softer. And that's kind of where we're going with our drawings. Wow, cool. There it is. Oh God. Now we have to put the sauce on there. So I think I'm gonna draw the drizzle. You can almost imagine like a big spoon and like drizzling it, zigzagging it like across the top. And I'm gonna draw the right side of the drizzle, the left side of the drizzle, and watch it kind of like go on the staircase of the chicken. So it's almost like it goes down on the skin and then up on the meat and then down on the skin, up on the meat, across the skin, up the meat, across the skin, up the meat, across the skin. So you can almost see that drizzle functioning like a river going over rocks, or like imagine like water from a rain, like pouring down, pouring down a staircase. Maybe that's the way to go, is that you start at the top and then it goes down the hill, across the step, down the step, across the step, down the step, across, down, across, down, across, down. I like that. I will probably do it that way. So it goes across and then down, across, down, across, down, across, drips down, flows up and across, and then drips down over that way. That's gonna be the right side of my drizzle. And then it's down, across, and then down, across, and then down, across, down, across, down, down. And it just like, ooh, like drips down the side of that. So right now, it almost reads like a shadow. I don't know if you can see that, but it almost feels like there's this like shadow going over top of my chicken. So I'm just gonna erase everything that's in between those lines. It's so bold. So when I was talking about the reasons for drawing, the reasons for drawing are, include like preparation for painting, but honestly, it's the joy of appreciating something that you're seeing, that you're seeing it on a deeper level, regardless of whether your drawing looks good, regardless of whether that looks like, a demi-glaze. I get to like analyze the nature of the sauce, and I'm seeing the sauce in a way that I didn't see it before, and it is enjoyable. Oh, it goes all the way onto the plate. Nice. I didn't see it. It goes all the way up on that plate there. So, I mean, I try not to even like judge my drawings until, until like the next day, because I feel like as I'm sketching, I don't, it's like, it's like I'm not rational. It's like, I don't know whether it's a good drawing or not. And I'm too close to it. I'm too emotional, and there's so much I don't really know. So like, I do my best and I assess it, but I really don't judge it. Like, I'm not like, oh, this is good, this is bad. I'm just like, okay, well, does the texture on the skin look like skin? If it doesn't, what can I do to fix it? I'm not like, this is good, this is bad. And I try not to play that game. You can assess your work without judging its value. And as soon as you start judging the value, good or bad or whatever, it tends to like throw a weird vibration, where it can be it decreases the chances of success. It doesn't eliminate the chances of success, but it's not a particularly helpful question, assessing the value. I'm like looking, I'm assessing my darks, and I'm the silhouette of the shadows on the plate. I'm like, wow, that really made the edge of the chicken pop. Is that happening anywhere else? I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so now I can see the inside of these shadows on the inside of the plate, and the inside of the chicken. And in my drawing, I don't have those. I have the silhouette on the outside of the chicken, the dark tones on the outside, but I don't have it on the inside. So now, now I'm going in and I'm going to add them. And that was a question. That was a helpful question about the piece. It wasn't like, is the chicken good? When you take a bite of it later, then you can say whether the chicken's good or not. Bad joke. And as you keep working, as you keep adding more things to your drawing, then new questions arise. I couldn't ask a question about the chicken until I had sketched it on there, and I didn't even question the silhouette of the chicken until I put the glaze on there. And the outside line of the glaze, I don't know if that is even helpful. Now I have to figure out how we can get this dill. I love dill. I actually grew dill in my very first garden, and it's got this really delightful flavor if you don't overdo it. And it's really soft, and the texture of it is gorgeous, and it just looks pretty. It doesn't work with every dish, that's for sure. So I'm trying to put like little my dill marks, and all the dill seem to be roughly the same size and the same width. So you want to remain consistent with that. So it's almost like I have to come up with like a mark making code for my dill, in the same way that we came up with a code for the potatoes, somewhat of a code for those green beans. I guess the code for the green beans, I can just do like on the side, maybe on the side of this thing as you guys are working on it, I might do like a little recap of the code for each one of our elements. And I hope that makes a helpful, especially for people that are watching the video later. And if any of you want to, you're probably like, I can't wait for this class to be over. But if you did want to rewatch the class, I can send you the video, and you can spend more time with it. You can even, if you wanted to, like, Stacy, if you needed more time to like, finish all of the potatoes, you can take a screenshot of it as well. And I can even email you the reproduction, like a high quality reproduction. All right, in this corner, representing the team potato, we had a cube. that had 4 sides. And then a bunch of those angles, we found the big side first, and then we built the delicate side planes that's generally how those cubes worked. Then eventually we found the edge of the potato. So you get the curved part was the side of the potato. The 90-degree angle were the edges that were sliced by the chef's knife. They were, let's see, some were even 2-dimensional. So just a regular rectangle, maybe a little edge, and then you can see the space between. So I was building, smaller abbreviated potato shapes beneath the potatoes that were not overlapped by anything. And then we had like the skin code. So this was the part of the potato that showed the skin. We used little dots to represent that the potatoes were not peeled. Most of them did not have skin, and the ones that didn't have skin had a little bit of mostly yellow with some nice browning. And then, of course, there was the deep parts of the red plate that weren't receiving any light, and we were shading the spaces between. That was like the general format of our potatoes. Now for the representing team green bean, we found that they were curving rectangles and they were layered. So one bean went beneath the other bean. And then the beans in their individuality had a silhouette line, and then there was a left side and a right side, so that each one of the beans generally at some point had the connection between the left side and the right side. And it may have represented, a thin component, maybe just a little bit of that connector was on one side and you saw mostly the bean on the other. There's a little bit of withering as the skin cooked, it got some vibrations to it. And then I think ultimately with these green beans, we determined that they would probably be most accentuated and be able to be most glorious if they had color and in different, in paint. So, I mean, I'm not saying it was a cop out, but maybe I needed to shade. Maybe that was the problem. I didn't have any blending. Maybe we needed to blend some of the beans together to give them their general tone. Because if you squint your eyes at this whole composition, the green beans are very dark. They're pretty dark. I mean, the chicken is very light. I probably even overdid I really probably overdid the chicken on, and the skin in terms of its darkness. But who knows? We'll see. So yeah, these green beans, those were the properties or the mark making code of the green beans. The code for the chicken were these layered medallions. Each medallion had a component that was exposed, kind of the juicy, tender meat, and then that was, the inside slice, and then the outside of the skin was the peppered and cooked exterior. And that was and then that medallion was layered on the next one, where it was a little bit wider generally, but then you get the juicy white skin, the white meat, and then the peppered outside. And if you think about the painting, each one, the skin would have its own color, and then the meat on the inside would have a unique color as well. So I think the skin on the outside had this general tone of being overall dark, and then we really protected the lightness of the meat in the middle, the interior, by not shading it. And then of course the drizzle was the staircase across the skin, down the step of the meat, across the skin, down, across. So we did the right side, left side. I didn't, in the paint, I feel like we would really have highlights. It would be like wonderful to have these highlights dripping off that side. But we didn't really quite get there, but we did sprinkle at least some dill in this like, you know, this nice little slash, consistent slash. It almost looks like hair. It looks like a hairy tongue. God, oh, so funny. All right, the moment of truth. Did anybody get something that they're kind of proud of? Maybe we'll start with that, and then as the we'll go down the shame line or the failure line. Listen, no one wins every drawing, so it's like winning and losing. It's like a sport. You gotta learn some. There's like bumps in the road. Does anybody want to show it? I'd love to see. What's that?
Right ahead.
Let's go, Brandon.
I tried to do the.
I'm gonna
pencil
stop the share
already.
so I can get a good look, and then I'll pin you if you want to show it.
Yeah, I was really excited about the colored pencil.
Uh-huh.
I kind of got lost, and then I like took a good look at it, and I realized I kind of messed up the green beans a little bit. Kind of look a little bit like a blob.
Dude, those are awesome. No,
Hold that a little bit
they read like green beans.
away.
They really read like green beans. Yeah, and the high the
Yeah, they do.
the intensity of the red of the plate. I would probably bring some of that red in the gaps just to the outside, you know, so they're on the silhouettes of it as well.
All right.
Great set of potato cubes. I love those potato cubes.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I could have been, and I don't know if I was going too fast or if you were just taking your time, but again, I can email you this video if you want to finish the chicken. Cool.
All right,
Nice job, dude. Miss Foley, can I see?
Yes, I did. The green beans ended up just looking like scribbles. I went way too dark. It's kind of hard to see.
No, hold it tight. Just hold it still. Sweet. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. It's like, I actually really like the treatment of those green beans. I love that they're fast. Can you go back up? I gotta absorb it. And I don't need to comment on everybody's, but yeah, those are nice forms. The chicken's good. I love
I really
the
like the
drizzle.
potatoes.
If you draw, if you like just shore up the outside of your plate, you know, you don't have to like make it super dark, but that'll give it a nice platform and it'll make it look good. Okay, cool. Anybody else? How about Sebastian? Let's see you. I'm gonna replace the pin. Excellent. Nice chicken. Those are great. Yes. Okay, good. So you had a similar thing. Great potatoes, great chicken, challenging on the green beans. The green beans are not easy, Holmes. Anybody? Okay, let's see. Maya, can I see yours? And then there's Miss Freed over there. Let's see it, Maya.
I kind of don't want to show it.
Okay, you don't have to show it. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah, no one has to show. Good God. It's helpful for me as an art teacher, though. Kaya, how about you? Can I see any wins? Any wins? And even honestly, even if you got just got successful potatoes, you know, and like not good at anything else, it's like 1 out of 3 is not bad.
I'll pass.
Okay, Estelle, Max, Nico.
I'll go.
Yes.
I
That's good.
actually changed my green beans into spaghetti because I didn't want to do that.
Hold on. Who was that? Who just said that?
It was me, Nico.
Nico. Okay,
Nico.
hold on. I gotta find your oh, there it is. Sweet. All right, I gotta
Spaghetti
replace the
with
pin.
vegetables.
Yeah, and once again, I am drawn, hello,
Yeah.
to everyone's potatoes.
The potatoes are solid. That your the drizzle is fantastic, and the spaghetti is really good. I actually I pulled one that we might that as a potential of doing spaghetti. I pulled like 5 of these. I thought we were gonna draw 5. Turns out we only did 1. Yeah, that's in focus now. Great. Yeah, your potato cut. Great, a great peanut too.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Side note. All right, Nico, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Estelle, let's see yours, man. Place pinned.
It's not the best thing ever, and it didn't end up like blending or anything.
It's not the best thing ever. It's better than mine. Definitely better than mine.
It's better than mine.
I think it's
Estelle, can you
fantastic.
hold that further
Well done,
from
well
the
done.
screen, a little further from the screen, and hold it nice and still?
It's got a wonderful charm not having the plate. It's almost like the circle is like implied. But
Yeah.
and I don't know, I don't even know the right answer. Maybe it's best to not put the plate in, or maybe it is good to put the plate in and then have it come right close to the edge. I don't know. Nice work though. Thanks for showing. Milana, do you want to do it? Or Miss Freed? Yeah, Milana, did you get it?
I didn't actually draw what we were drawing. I drew an elf.
Yes, let's see it. By the way, and everybody, oh my God, it's so gorgeous. Get that down. We hold it back up again.
That's beautiful.
That was really beautiful. So this class is designed to inspire, and if you just like listening, you just like being part of like the synergy of like making art together, you've got to just make whatever you're called to make. So thank you for doing that, and thanks for showing it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
The eye was beautiful. I really like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, is that who? What about Miss Freed? Whose is that? I don't know if you're on there. It's okay if you're not. All right, Max, are you in the house? I didn't get to talk to you yet. I haven't seen you. Max might not be there. It might just be one. All right, did I miss anybody that wanted to show? Stace, did you show yours?
No,
Come on, show it.
but I can.
All right,
Sure.
please. Ag. That's nice. Yeah, now you just gotta fill those
Thank you.
potatoes out. That chicken is ridiculous. I want to eat.
Yeah.
And now I feel like eating chicken. I was eating. I was in the mood for short ribs. Now I think I want chicken with dill drizzle.
I want those short ribs. That's what I want with the carrots that we.
You're welcome to come over. You're welcome to come over. We have more than enough. Literally.
That's sweet. Thank
It'd
you.
be great to see Tucker too. Good boy, Tuck. All right, everybody.
Good boy.
If you guys want to email me your progress, I can really get a chance to see it when it's emailed and up close. I love seeing those. And thanks for sketching with us today. It was a lot of fun.
This was
It
great.
was fun
Trevor,
for me.
can I see yours again really quickly?
Yeah, I'm not that happy with it. Screen share. I think I'm gonna have to go through and do some actual toning, because I mean, everybody that got the general values correct. What is it? Can you guys see it yet?
No, my screen, it just says Trevor Twist has started screen sharing, and it's, that circle just keeps spinning.
It hasn't popped up yet. Should pop up soon. It does this every once in a while. And everything's set up properly. All right, hold on. Oh, stop share. Why? I think it's been working so hard all day. All right, let me try one last time so you can see it, Stace.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting the same read on my screen. The Trevor Twist has started screen sharing. And the circle is spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning.
I don't know what to do. Hope it comes.
Well, in the meantime, thank you so much. This has been a great class.
Thank you. I know. Thanks for saying that. I liked it.
You're welcome.
Hope you guys did too. Anyway, it's not working. I gotta get out of here. I gotta cook these short ribs, y'all. It's great to see you.
Enjoy.
And please, if you can, email me your action. I'd love to see it. And keep drawing, everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great week.
Bye.